Got to put the last volume thing right up. Yeah, sweet. We recording? Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to the Ice Project. Before we start, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you smash that subscribe button. If you're listening to this on Spotify, on the podcast app, make sure you leave a review, 5-star, 1-star, whatever the fuck you want to do. That's up to you. But we did drop a new collection last night, Hindsight's 2020. It's going great. A few things are sold out already. So if you do want to cop something, www.yktr.com.au. But for now, roll the intro. Travis Young, what's up, mate? Where have you been?
What have you been up to, bro?
We were just talking about this off air. If you follow the Ice Project from day dot, he was my first ever guest, and his stories are incredible, and he's sort of taken off and started his own stuff from there. So what's been happening in the past year?
Not much, bro. Like I said, we're almost coming up to a year. First of all, happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, this is your day.
Bro.
What are you doing? What are you doing for Valentine's Day for your girlfriend?
I'm just going to the movies later on, bro.
Yeah.
I've already done my deeds this morning.
That sounds dodgy.
It did sound worse than it was. She went and trained on. She trains Friday mornings, and I have to stay home with the kids. So she goes and trains. So when she came home, she had her presents waiting for her. So
presents.
Yeah, presents.
What are you talking about? Presents? What kind of presents you getting there?
I rookie heard this bad boy. I messaged her sister, which is always my go-to around birthday times. Anytime I got to get a present for Chloe, I always message Jazz, and she gives me the intel. And I said, "What do you reckon I should get?" And I was at Miranda. I was trying to get my watch fixed, and she goes, "Go in and Peter Alexander and get some PJs." I was like, "Yeah,
good PJs too."
Yeah, the grass. But I went in there and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll get 2 of these. And I'll get a dressing gown, candle, and there's one more thing. I had slippers, right?" And I was like, "Oh, that only be like a couple $100." I was well off. I got to the point, when you get to the cash register, you put it all up there, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that'll be $480 or something like that." And I just went, "Yep." I was like, "Shit." I should have done my research first, but I was in a rush and I was flustered in there. There's like only chicks in there, but yeah, I've done that, so I look like a hero right now at the moment. Anyway,
making us feel like inadequate boyfriends as usual. You still writing love letters?
Still doing them, bro. Every Wednesday. Wednesday.
Do you run out of ideas or what to say, or
no? Sort of, but most of the time it's like a gratitude thing. So like if she does something good, like not says something good for me. If she helps me out in some way, like I always kind of write about that moment, or like she's helping me out with something with the council at the moment for my business, and like I'll write, thanks for that. She without her I can't do what I do, that kind of stuff. So no, not really. It just kind of goes off day to day of what I write to her, and there's 7 days in a week. She generally does one thing good a week, so I can write about one thing. It's all good.
All right. So besides that, you got to sort of take off to New York and run the marathon. What did you learn from that?
Oh, bruh, that marathons are long. A lot of things I learned from that. Like I learned a lot about myself in that as well, because I did a podcast about my New York Marathon a couple of weeks ago, and when I ran the New York Marathon, like I expect myself to finish these things. Like it's never really like, I hope to finish. It's like, I'm going to finish. Like that's it. But I actually got to a point in the marathon where I was 8Ks out, and my body had completely crumbled. Like I was cramping in my left calf, my left hammy, and my right hammy. I was doing some weird kind of, like, it looked like I was just doing a weird dance, trying to get my shit together. And I remember I messaged Chloe in it, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it. And that was gut-wrenching for me, because it's like I said, I expect...
Do you have a phone on, yeah?
Yeah, I take my phone, because that's how you track. Like, I got like a little belt thing that I wear, and I had it in that. And I pulled it in. I was like, fuck, I don't think I'm going to make it, because there's this medical staff standing over the top of me, like, and I was trying to stretch, and I've never had cramps like this before. My whole body was shutting down. Like, I was getting pain in my abs as well. And I just didn't think I was going to make it, and I just got up, and the medical staff, dude, was trying to get me to go in the tent. And I spoke to the guy that I went, like the running coach that works at my gym before, and he said if you go in a medical tent, you get disqualified. To be honest, I don't even know what that means, but I was like, I'm not going in the medical tent. He's going, mate, you got to go in the medical tent. I said, get fucked, I'm not going in the medical tent. And then like I got up and I was like...
Australian bloke coming swearing at us.
Yeah, and he was just being this nice American dude. Oh, it's hectic, by the way, the marathon. Anyways, he goes, mate, get in. I said, no, just go. I'm going to try and run. And I just started like kind of hobbling, and I just kept breaking down. But like that's the most mentally I've ever been challenged physically. But it was the most challenging thing to get through to finish that marathon that I've ever been through. Like that 8Ks felt longer than the 34Ks that I just ran. Like I can remember little parts of from 0 to 34, but from that 8 kilometers, I remember like every single step. It was the worst. Like I just cramp up, and then like you just get so frustrated in yourself because you're like, I know that like, mentally I'm going, you can do this, you can get there. But my body was just breaking down on me.
What happened?
Oh, I think it's a combination of things. So it's a bit comical, but my watch was well out. So I don't know whether it had been out while I was training as well, which would explain why I felt so shocked. Because by the time I finished the marathon, I'd done something like 52 kilometers on my watch. So it was well and truly out. So that played a bit of a part. But I think the travel, like I only went over 2 days before I ran.
Fair chance that, yeah.
All right, you're in New York, right? You're not going to sit on your ass. So the 2 days leading up, I was walking around New York and I was like, oh, we won't do much. I looked at my watch at the end of each day. I was doing over 15 Ks. And like,
Yeah, bro, you do that easy. Yeah.
And I didn't even realise it. So those two things, and then just probably not being prepared enough with like my my gels and salts and stuff like that. Because I cramped a couple of times when I was running my big runs, but I was sweet enough to finish up for those ones. So I just didn't really think too much about it. So probably just not well prepared enough on that.
You going back this year?
No, I'm doing Gold Coast. And then the other thing, like I was saying before, was hectic, right? So I'm a fucking show pony. So we get out.
Oh, you're flying now, yeah.
Oh, bro. So if you've ever done a running event in Sydney, or actually any event I've done one in New Zealand, but like there's some people around and it's cool. And it's not until you like the last K where it's like, it's packed. But New York, it is next level. So you start off and you go over a bridge. That was another one of my faults. I knew there was only 4 bridges in the race and they were the only hills. And I'm like, piece of piss. Like I run over, Carnivore Bridge every day, like every week. They're not like that. They're 1K up, 1K down bridges. So you can run over the bridge and then you come over and you get to where the streets are and it's just packed.
Really?
It's 4 people deep and people just throwing up signs saying, we love you, you're here. And I'm like running up, high-fiving everyone.
Are they here for me, are they?
I'm like, everyone's coming out. This is hectic. Just for me. I'm all the way from Australia. There's little kids along the side of the street. I'm high-fiving them all and just carrying on. So I got out and I went out heaps too hard. I remember I didn't put my headphones in for the first 15 Ks because I wanted to like take in the moment, man. You're running through Brooklyn, Manhattan, like it's unbelievable. So we're going through and I'm seeing all these people and you're hearing the crowd. So I'm just getting caught up in the moment. And I looked down at my watch and although I was out, but it was like doing like 4:20s and I should.
Oh, bro, that's quick.
Way too quick. But in saying that, I even thought, fuck, that's too quick. But I didn't feel like I was running that. So that's when I thought, oh, my watch might be out. And I couldn't get the gist of where I was because I was running off kilometers off my watch.
They're in miles.
They're in miles. So their markers are in miles. And I'm like, by 10 Ks in, like my mind's frazzled. Like I can't even think. Like I was just going. So 15 kilometers in, I'm going way too fast, too hard because of the crowd. And I was like, shit, put your headphones back in. I put my headphones in. We come around, I think it was like the back end of Brooklyn, maybe the start of Manhattan. I'm not too sure. But you came in, I had my headphones on full ball, like as loud as you could go, cranking. I couldn't hear my music because of the crowd.
Bullshit.
That's how loud it is. I couldn't believe it. Like I knew that, like everyone said to me, New York is like nothing else. I'm like, yeah, New York's hectic. But when you run the marathon, it's full on. Like there's a stadium when you run in for the last 500-600 meters. So that was the New York Marathon.
Where do you finish in Times Square?
No, in the
Central Park.
Yeah, Central Park. I was going to call it Centennial Park. Central Park. Yeah, you finish up there near where Home Alone was. That hotel down there.
Oh yeah, cool around there.
You know when he runs out, it's just around there. So finished up there, and the worst part is you had to walk another 3-4 kilometers to pick up your bags and everything that you left. And I was torched. Like I went white. I felt like I lost like 20 kilos. I felt real skinny. It was not a good time.
What'd you eat after that?
Macca's.
Straight on.
So I felt that.
You're in New York and you eat Macca's?
No, just only after this because I needed something in my stomach. I felt really, really sick, and I have like a go-to when I feel sick. I always eat nuggets. So I was like, Chloe, can you get me some nuggets? And I think she Uber Eats some, and I had like 20 nuggets, and I felt better straight after it. I just felt really depleted. When you do those long runs, like you almost feel sick. Like from like all the energy that's going out of your body, like you can't be able doing anything. And then as soon as I ate, but we ended up going to a Knicks game that night as well, so came kind of good. But yeah, that was a toughest thing I've done physically and ended up being mentally as well. Like me sitting there at that 8 kilometers to go mark. I remember the guy goes to me, you got 4 point something miles to go. I'm going, in kilometers. I'm yelling at him. I don't even know what that means. Give me fuck water. Yeah, something. And anyways, yeah, so that last 8 kilometers, man, I'll remember that. But that really tested me and showed me who, like, you know, like when times get tough, like I still got it in me to dig deep and get through it. So I was really proud of myself for getting it done as well.
Good man. All right. Funny, your girlfriend was messaging me and when I was in New York, giving me restaurant things, but I thought it was you. And I was calling her like, bro. I was like, oh, thanks, bro. And I had a look. I was like, oh, fuck, I felt like the biggest idiot. But what we're here to talk about is a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you follow me, obviously you've seen I've been pumping it. His partner sort of messaged me around Christmas and said, what's a great book you should read? And I said, this book, and you got into it straight away. What was your thoughts on the book?
I loved it. She actually, I think there was 2 or 3 books, and she got me all of them. And so I read this one, and now I'm reading Great Leaders Need No Rules or something like that.
Yep.
I'm reading that one as well. But I love this one, and the reason why I loved it so much is, and it says it at the front. I just realized it's so practical. Like you can put everything he talks about into use straight away.
Today.
Yeah. Actually, I was in Bali and I was doing it. Yeah. Like I read it. I'm a shit reader. I'm hopeless. Like I was telling you before, I read 10 pages and then I'll kind of go, shit, what did I just read? But with this one, I read it. I started on the flight over. I finished it 2 days into my trip.
I finished it, pretty much same as you, 2 days.
Crazy.
It's just too good. It's what they call like a bona fide page turner. And one is, it's written really well because it's so easy. And like you said, like you're not a massive reader, but you didn't find it too hard to get through. Luke, you've read it as well, most of it?
Halfway through.
Yeah, halfway through as well. My girlfriend's read it. She doesn't really like these kind of like self-development type books, but she goes, it's so easy to read and it's so practical. So
practical. And what I love it about is because like I do a lot of this. That's probably why I love it the most, because I do a lot of this shit that's in here. Because you know what I'm like. I'm structure based. I'm routine based. Like I'm just go like to the minute almost with everything I do. So that's why I love it. But now I get this articulates it so much better than what I could.
It's better framework, say really
Heaps
basic.
Yeah. Like I get frustrated at people, but really I'm getting frustrated myself because I can't explain how I do my habits properly. And then I'm like, you're just dumb. But then I'm realized like I can't explain what I do properly to people, so they can't implement it themselves. So now I just go, this is the book. Yeah. I've honestly, I reckon 15 people have asked me. I sent it to someone yesterday. I said, just get this book. And as well, it works well with me understanding my bad habits from the past as well, which we'll probably get into. It was hectic. So I read this and I'm like, fuck. That reminds me of like, you know, because he talks about how your habits, like if you compound on your good habits, it's obviously good, but it goes the other way too. And most people don't realise what they're doing, and I didn't realise it either.
I remember you saying this in the last, I think we've done a podcast on goal setting one time. I think we've evolved from those podcasts and some of the stuff would say now, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it's from this book especially.
Yeah, I remember you saying like, oh, people just want to lose like 10 kgs, and if they don't lose it in there, who's that?
It's your phone through your laptop.
And you were saying, oh, people have that, like the goal is to lose 10 kgs, but they all want to do it in the first week, or it's okay to just lose like 500 grams that first week, and that's essentially what it is. And you talked about the 1%ers of compounding good and bad habits, and they talk about the analogy of if you start in LAX, which is Los Angeles Airport, and head to JFK, if you're 1 degree off, you end up in fucking Charlotte or somewhere, which is nowhere near. Yeah, and that's so true.
It was in Washington.
Maybe Washington, yeah.
Yeah, from Washington, and it was 3 degrees, 7 foot if you change it. That's what I was thinking about. And like I was thinking about, like, I base that off my life, right? So I had all these goals before I went to rehab, right? Those 2 years leading up, I had all these goals of what I want to achieve, but I just started detouring off target, just a little bit each day. 2 years later, I'm sitting in rehab when I thought I was going to be in a completely different direction. And then you fast forward now from 4 years from there, I've just gone straight back onto that path and just kept my eyesight on what I want to do, and I'm in a complete different direction just from changing the small little things.
So how do you want to do this? Do you want to roll through yours, or do you want to? Let's roll for yours. You seem a bit more organised. Bit of habits.
I'm keeping Cronk, you're the monster out the back, huh?
Nah, I'm moving into Cronk now, bro. I'm organised. Yeah, we're very organised around here. We've got weekly plans, monthly plans, yearly plans. Yeah. So it's a lot different now.
Wow,
growing up, bro. I've grown up. We're growing up.
Everyone coming in. When they came in here, bro, you had boxes over here to holding up the cameras.
Do you know what's
you got you next to me over here.
Yeah, I like that. Do you know what's funny? Like we've probably done the most podcasts together together, but we've only released 2 of them. There's that many times we've done a podcast and the mics are fucked up, or fuck, I was so true, we got to come back in and go again.
And then we did it again. I'm like, shit, bro, I hated that one. We've got to do it again. I think we did the same podcast 3 times.
Done that both times as well. All right, quotes. One of the big quotes that I learned from here: goals are the results of what you want to achieve. Systems are the processes that get you there, and that's essentially it, Because everyone's got the same fucking goals.
Yes.
Everyone's got the same goals. Like, I want to work for myself, or I want to run a clothing brand, or I want to own my own gym. Everyone's got that goal.
I want to win the championship. Every team has the same, goal of winning a premiership or a championship or whatever it is. But they, like he said in the book, they don't stare at the results on the board. They they focus on the systems.
Yeah. And we talked about this. I think our very first one. Like, if we create enough value, the sort of money just sort of pops up.
Yes.
Like, even though we didn't know how to explain it at the time, but that was a system.
Exactly.
And a system that we've sort of moved towards. I've talked about this a lot. Like, we've got a week plan out. Like, we've got goals for the week, but how are we going to get to those goals? What's our thing for today? And everyone's got 2-3 tasks that they need to do and check it off. And everyone within our business can see what that person needs to do today to get towards that task. And if they don't align with the weekly goal, the monthly goal, the yearly goal, the fucking 10-year goal, you're wasting your time. You're just being busy for the sake of being busy. And we talked about the power list, and I'm a big list person as well. And I used to come in and write 20 fucking things, and I'll get a kick out of being like, 19 done, 20 done. Fuck, how good am I? Walk out, go, fuck, what have I actually done?
Yeah, busy for the sake of being busy.
That's it, bro. And I was wasted energy.
Yeah, well, like, by the way, proud of all those things that you're doing now.
Thanks,
man.
appreciate that.
Goodness, that was unbelievable. Everyone's got their own checklist, working to it. But that's it. You break it down. So, like, I go off my 5 things that I've got to achieve each day that are going to tick the needle forward for the business or whatever it is that I'm working on, whether it's my podcast, whether it's, me personally. Like, there's 5 things a day that you want to work on. No, I keep it that simple now. And it makes you push out the bullshit. You wrote 20 things right down. There's probably one or 2 things that actually you needed to do on that day, like that were going to push the needle forward. Other than that, you're just kind of pushing rubbish around the floor and not actually cleaning it up. People do that. So
when you're a kid, yeah.
So that were your 3 quotes you got out of it?
Oh, that was one. That was the main one I got from it, and that's the one I focused on.
Okay, so my number 1 was never miss twice. Now, we always talk about this at my gym, right? And the reason why this one stuck out is because we have 3 rules that we talk about to our challenges, and one of them is never miss twice. Now, what you want to do is, if you fail one time, you want to focus all your energy about not repeating it, compounding that error. So never miss twice, because that's what happens with these habits. You fail once, and you're like, oh, it's all right. And then you fail twice, and it's like, oh, shit. And then, before you know it,
it's a habit.
It becomes a habit. So you never miss twice. So that's what I love. It's a real simple one we always talk about to our challenges. If you miss one session, don't beat yourself up, but don't let it happen twice.
Yeah.
Put all your effort and energy. Same thing about if you have a bad meal. Shit happens. We all do, and it's not sustainable for you to eat 100% clean for the rest of your life. You can have those moments, but don't do it twice in a row.
It gets like that, You have one on Wednesday, like a bit of KFC. Oh, fuck it, I'll start Monday.
Exactly.
Go ham for 5 days.
Perfect example. And that's how it works. So that never missed twice. Obviously, I love that because we used it in the gym, but it's so easy, like we were saying at the start, to put into use every single day. You know what I mean? You just go, all right, I fucked up here. Don't do it again twice. It's like same on the footy field, Don't compound errors. So, yeah, that was my... One
of my coaches used to say if you had a bad game, just like good players don't have 2 bad games in a row.
Yeah.
Just same fucking shit, bro.
It's simple.
Yeah, it's so simple.
Breaks it down. What was your second quote?
Not so much a quote, but the biggest thing that I've sort of taken away is that resetting the room.
Yeah.
You know that one?
Yeah.
So and what I've found in my house, actually we'll touch on identity after, because I feel like that's probably the most important part about this. But what I found with my house, because in my house there's a couch and you can kind of move the cushions around. And we found, like, when I sat there and thought about, like, why our house ends up in a mess, my girlfriend's a little bit messy, whatever. But it always started with the Happy Valentine's Day. It always started with the cushions on the couch. And once those, like, if one was down, kind of just sort of littered around the house, like there'd be then a couple shoes on the ground, or like plates not put away, or stuff like that. So I found like every time we leave the lounge now, we put the cushions back, we put the remote back where it is, we've got a throw, we reset that whole lounge, and it just keeps it tidy straight away.
Yeah.
And we do it probably not enough around the office, but we do a little bit around here. Like once Lukey leaves, fuck, his desk's clean, and when you come back into that environment, it feels nice. It feels good. It feels like almost like a clean car. You know, when you drive a clean car, it's got that great feeling about it.
I clean my car once a week.
Yeah, I can see you clean your car once a week.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a geek like that. It's exactly what you said. It's about your environment that you're in, your habits. So it forces you to enjoy. He talks about like you need to enjoy your habits. So if you enjoy sitting at your desk when it's nice and clean, you're going to be more. You're going to do that habit more. And it's the same as making your bed in the morning every time. You know, it gets you into that good habit.
You take on the habit of a organised person, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, you kind of touched on it. What podcast was it where you were talking about if you want to be a successful person, you're going to act like or business person, sorry, you got to act like a businessman. Like if you want to be a person of good habits, you got to start acting like, you got to start doing these habits and, you know, cleaning your bedroom, making sure it's clean all the time, but just from doing the little steps like making your bed, putting the pillows back like you said, so it's all reset and ready to go the next day. Like I was doing these things before, but I didn't realize what I was, my habits were doing.
Almost the science behind it, isn't it?
Yeah, because once you got like everything's got its home, like it's like home base. You put it back there, and then everything's reset. That's when you feel like you can be your most productive. I know, like if my desk is cluttered, it almost feels like my brain's cluttered as well. So I need to clean everything up first. But if I just keep it clean, like you said, Lukey always comes in and it's always clean. Then he's always going to be productive when he comes in because it's always that clear-minded kind of environment. He talks heaps about environment as well.
Yeah, and talk about sort of like habit stacking. Is that what he calls it?
Yeah.
In there? Habits. That's a great way to form like because I've started a morning routine this year when it's been like so it's 10 press ups in the morning, Wim Hof breathing into a cold shower, and I write 3 things I'm grateful for. But I always do it in that order. And like even this morning, like I was like a little bit tired, like had a late one, had a heaps of shit on with a collection launch. Like fuck, can't be fucking doing this, and it's almost foolproof. You can't almost fail it. And by the time I've written that last thing that I'm grateful for, I'm ready for the day. I'm ready to rock and roll.
The habit stacking is the one I probably use the most. So
do you want to break down what a habit stack is?
For sure.
I'll probably just rambled then.
Well, I'll use what I've done to like what I've learned from the book. So one of my things that I failed 2 goals last year, and one of them was not reading enough books. I had 9 books that I wanted to read. And it wasn't my goals weren't right. It was that my systems weren't right.
That's it.
Right. So, and he said, I used the one that he put in there was put my book on top of my pillow every morning. So even though I get up before Chloe, I'd still get my book and I put it on top of my pillow so she'd know to leave it there when she made the bed. But habit stacking, right? So I would come home, obviously have my shower and everything at night, and then when I was getting into bed, that's my routine. So you go, you shower, you brush your teeth, and you get into bed. You do that no matter what. So then my next habit was to put the book on top of the pillow. So then every time when I go to bed, it's there. But how it worked really well for me is then there's 2 mornings where Chloe goes to the gym and I stay. I got to stay home with the kids Thursdays and Fridays. So I habit stack there because every single time I'd get up, I'd kind of fluff around and not do what I need to do because I was kind of waiting around. So what I do now is I create a little ritual in that morning. I can't touch my phone until I've read 10 pages of the book, and then I can shower, and so I do that and then make sure then I get into my normal ritual of shower, brush my teeth, get dressed. So I do it before or after.
Great place to start because when you look on your phone, it's like a sort of reward system in your body. It's
Yes.
a dopamine, isn't it?
Yes.
It releases that because it's so addictive. So if you put that to the back end of your habit stacking or whatever you do, like it's kind of, as small as it sounds, it's kind of like a reward because you actually want to do that. You actually do want to look at your phone.
Yeah, I find that I have to use my phone as my reward for a lot of things. Okay, so it's another example of what I've started doing. I come home on Mondays and Tuesdays, like at around 2:30, and I've got anywhere from 2 hours to 3 hours before I've got to go back to work or pick up the kids. So I've got that time, and I'd come home and I'd just sit on my phone and just do nothing. So what I've started doing instead is as soon as I get home, I make sure that I meditate for 10 minutes. You know the Headspace app?
Yep, I know that.
Piece. You just put it on. You put it on for a timer.
How do you go with meditating?
I struggle, especially on those days, Mondays and Tuesdays. You're the same as me. We front load our weeks, like front load the shit out of them. So like all my like heavy stuff that I've got to do is done on Mondays and Tuesdays. So when I come home, it takes me ages to switch off. And I used to just sit on my phone and just waste time. So if I do that, I kind of get into this place where I forget about. By the end of the 10 minutes, the first 5 minutes, I'm hopeless because I'm just, the whole day's processing through my mind. But once I get through that 10 minutes, I feel that, you know, I'm clearer. I'm less like almost anxious because like I want to get back to work. I want to get back doing this, but like I know that I've got to, if I want to keep my energy up for the class or whatever it is I'm going back for, I need to chill out. So habit stacking, I'll come home, which I always do. I make sure I always come home at that time, and then I just go straight into meditating. And then once I've done that, then I can go on my phone, opposed to coming home, sitting on my phone straight away. And I've been finding, mind you, I've only been doing this for 2 or 3 weeks now since I got back from Bali. But since I've been doing that, I've been staying off my phone as well. Because once it's over, like I'll go inside and like I'll go and I'll make something to eat, and I just kind of stay away from my phone because that 10-minute period where I haven't just sat down on my ass and done nothing, or technically I have actually, but like I haven't been, you know, taking my mind away from my phone. I've just been, you know, being with my thoughts.
I'm very similar. Like this year, the amount of sleep I've been able to get compared to like recent years, I probably slept more this first 2 months than I had like 2 years ago, you know what I mean? Over the whole year. And it's because we've got great habits and great systems in place. When I go home, I can fucking chill. Like, I don't think about YKTR 24/7. I'm happy to sit there and read a book or be present with your girlfriend and just sort of fuck around, talk shit with her and like have fun with her. And like, yeah, I don't know. It's just putting great systems in place and adding that to habits, because I've done what I needed to do. I've crossed everything off my list. I've like worked out. I've eaten healthy. And you get to bed and you're just like, fuck, I've got nothing on my mind.
Yeah.
And I never used to be like that. I was almost insomnia. Like I'd be up to 2, 3 in the morning. I'll get up at 5, 6. I didn't want anyone to outwork me and all this sort of shit. But as a business, like we're a lot better state as a business. Our money's gone up, all that sort of stuff. Like I feel like my relationships with a lot of my friends are a lot more better now, because I'm like I can actually listen to them. Yeah. I'm not just going like that and my mind just going like ticking over.
Not thinking about the 3 different businesses you're just thinking of starting up.
Yeah, I think that was a big problem with me last year. I was trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Like, instead of focusing on what's got you, what the golden goose is, which is YKTR clothing side, I was fucking trying to do everything else. So. Yeah.
And once you have all these systems and they become habit, everything else seems so much easier, right? Like you just said, your sleeping has improved. Like I put my phone on Do Not Disturb every night. Automatically goes on Do Not Disturb at 8 p.m. every night.
You can do that, yeah?
Yeah, you can do that. So you put it on automatically. So mine just goes, as soon as it gets 8 o'clock ticks over, my phone's on Do Not Disturb. And I know I trust in my team, or I trust in like my systems, that anything that happens after that time, you know, can wait till the next morning. That's why this morning when you wrote to me like 8:20 or something, bro, I was already asleep. Bro, I was asleep at like 7:30 last night. We did testing Wednesday, and my body's just fucked from it.
So here's a couple of systems. So say like right now or today, I'm heading down to Melbourne for the next 48 hours. But what a lot of our system is like check out content Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday's a big day for content because you're dragging over the weekend. Online businesses, people tend to buy over the weekend and stuff as well. So if I'm not checking what type of content we're dropping or that's going to be scheduled out over the next 48 hours, like that fucks up, that can potentially hurt our business in terms of sales. So what system that we've implemented every single day, me and Natasha, she's PA, deals with operations, customer service, we call it on the scales. So you appreciate this terminology, because if you're trying to lose weight, the best thing you can do every single day is what? Jump on the scales. Yeah. So we check our key KPIs at 9 o'clock every morning. 1, how much money did we make? 2, what's the average order value? 3, what's your like customer conversion rate? 4, how many pieces of content do we post? And if we do that every single day, we can track. So obviously the more content we post, the more sales that we get. And if we're not holding up to those values, because we're checking every single day, we're checking ourselves and looking ourselves in the mirror naked every single day, we're going, fuck, we just found our business just gets a lot better.
You got that accountability now.
Accountability. And that's all it is. And that's a system like on our, we use Trello for planning out a week. 9 o'clock every day, OTS on the scales. Like,
let's go.
Yeah.
That's good, man. When you come up with those systems and they keep you accountable, although like it can be, like you say, confronting, like it's like staring yourself naked every day, but it just makes you become better. Because if you're accountable and you know you're and the person you're looking back in the mirror and you're keeping that person accountable, everyone else around you is gonna strive up as well.
Do you know I'm journaling this year, which
I've been seeing, yeah,
it's been good for me. Morning, night time. Morning, 3 things I'm grateful for, what I want to achieve out the day. That's it.
Is that from the Resilience Project?
Well, I've done the Resilience Project before, but like, I just wanted to do it. But like nighttime, if you want a proper accountability thing, write a food journal away.
Yeah,
that's fine.
We get our clients to do that for our challenges. They got to do it for the first 3-4 days of the challenge, and then Because then you understand.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, man, they go, nah, man, I don't eat that bad. And then you go, I'll break it down for you, write it down. And they go, oh, yeah, there's a few things there I could have probably not eaten.
And the thing is, because you know you're going to write it at night time, you're like, shit, should I be eating this fucking chocolate bar right now? And like, I'm on a carnivore diet right now. I'm 2 weeks in.
I wanted to talk about that, actually.
Yeah, I'm 2 weeks in, bro. I feel great. I haven't touched anything else besides like meat and like cheese, full fat yogurt and eggs.
Yeah.
Like I feel great. But because I know I have to write that at night time and almost like look at yourself in the mirror. Like there's a saying, you can lie to everyone in the world, but you can't lie to the person in the mirror. And because you're journaling those thoughts every single day, you kind of just don't want to let yourself down.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of people, man, they believe that you're a very strong person, right? And you want to keep yourself accountable.
And only in some areas. Like health's probably the one I'm probably weakest in at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? I should be fucking under 90 kgs. I shouldn't be, where am I at 97? You know what I mean? I should be 7 kgs heavier. So I'm good in certain areas, like business, fucking love it, passion, whatever. But there's other areas of my life I'm not that great at.
But you can keep yourself accountable though. There's a lot of people that will believe in their own bullshit. Like they will lie to themselves. Oh, like that doesn't really add up. Or, I'm sorry, that doesn't really matter. Like it, they'll eat certain stuff and they'll still say, oh no, I'm
that one meal is not going to do with anything.
Exactly, and it won't. But that one meal won't. But like in his habits, like that one meal adds up to two bad meals, and it just keeps going. It just one of my I'll get to it later. But what you get is what you repeat. You know what I mean? So if you keep repeating, you're going to become that. Same as me as an addict. We'll get into that later on. But I want to ask you about the carnivore, not to get too far off, because I watched you do the carnivore diet. Did you do it after you watched the Game Changer or listen to Joe Rogan?
Nah, I done after Joe Rogan, but I talked to a lot of those boys from Real Movement Project, or a couple of them, like Keegan Smith. I had a guy, Troy Savage. Fuck, he's an impressive athlete, man. Have you seen his hip mobility?
No.
I'll tag you in him, bro. He's fucking so flexible, scary. I heard those boys sort of talking about it a little bit, and then Joe Rogan, obviously, I only listened to him and Gary Vee in podcasts. He started talking about it, and I respect his opinion, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to try it.
He lost, 12 pounds in, was it a week?
What's pounds in kgs, do you know?
It's 5.2 kilograms. I looked it up. I was around that, because I was like, what's 12 pounds?
Miles, kilometers, not miles.
Yeah, what's his shit about? It's either 5.2 or 5.4. I can't remember, but yeah, it's like 5. Did he do it in a month?
He done a month.
Oh, it was a month.
And that's what I want to do. It's only February though, so it's kind of a short month, but still a month.
Yeah, it's still a month. Like a carnivore diet's hardcore.
I don't reckon it is, bro. I reckon it's so easy.
But it's, how do you feel?
Good.
I
feel like, you know when like I have a coffee just out of habit. I probably don't need it. Because probably a bad habit. Need a coffee, start working.
Yeah.
I don't need it. And I'm like, I could talk to you here, do a bunch of work, go play basketball for 2 hours, and then come back at 3 o'clock and not dip. And that's the important one. I don't dip at all. I just go, keep going.
And that's from the carnivore diet.
I feel I'm probably hopefully in a ketosis state right now where I'm fat. Like I use fat as my main source of energy. I'm not using fucking glycogen or sugar or caffeine to spike energy levels.
I think it's fascinating, man. A lot of people jump on, this diet's the one, paleo, what about the Game Changer, man? The amount of people that told me.
Let me rephrase this. I feel like any diet can work, but the discipline of the diet is what gets you to the point. And I've tried fucking everything. I went paleo back in the day. I've done intermittent fasting, and I was probably saying the same shit I was like right now. Like, yeah, it's the best. I did try vegan for 2 weeks, probably 2018. Like, I found it was it was like heaps snacky. Like I was like, fucking, like, when's my next meal? But like now I don't. Yeah, always hungry. Like I don't think about food.
See, this is my opinion on it. Now I'm like, disclaimer, I'm not a nutritionist. I did a nutritionist course online. It was like, it took me 30 minutes. I think it cost like $30. Like when I first started, I was 19 years old. So disclaimer, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just going off my experience over the past 12 years of being a PT. Like you just said, everything has its reasons for it working, right? What works for you might not work for me. What works for Lukey might not work for that lady outside, right? So everyone has their own diet. It just depends on what works for you. So some people are vegetarians, it works great, right? I'm not going to sit there and say, don't do just vegetarian, you need meat. If that works for you, that works for you. Like I feel like Lukey Lewis, he fasts. The dude is 110 kilos and 10% body fat. It works for him, right? For me, I'd struggle. I get up in the morning and I look forward to that meal, but I use it as my energy source as well. So everyone, like, when this Game Changer came out, everyone's like, have you seen it? I'm like, but to me, it's a fad, because what happens is everyone comes out with like the paleo diet, like the keto diet. Everyone's like, there's this new diet, you got to get onto it. It's what works for everyone. It'll work for some people, it won't work for some other people. So if you're looking out there for what diet to get on, just find the one that works for you, and just stick to that, what works for you and your lifestyle. Everyone else wants to try and complicate it and, jump on this. Like, I love that you're doing the carnivore diet, because then I get to ask you questions like, how do you feel? How's your energy feel? Like, how you sleeping and stuff like that? Because it's great, because it works for you. That's mad, but it might not work for someone else. And then there'll be a vegetarian saying, you can't do this. You can't. I don't reckon. It's just, from what I've seen in the past, every body is different. So you just got to find what works for you.
That's sort of a great segue into the next part I want to talk about is identity. Like, the reason why I've gone carnivore diet, or one reason I want to be healthy, is because I want to be a better business person. And that's me attaching myself not to just losing weight. Like, instead of me having a goal of, I want to lose 10 kgs, it's like, I want to be a better business person. I want to have more energy to focus on business, on podcasts and stuff. So I'm attaching myself to an identity. I feel like the best people, the most annoying people are that try and force stuff in your face. And there's a lot of that with like vegans. They're like, they try and guilt trip you into eating that way. Yeah. And I know like some people believe in that sort of like harm to animal. That's the reason why they are vegan, because they are attaching themselves to an identity. They feel like they're happy in the world, so it's easy for them to do that. The reason why I tried to go vegan one time is because plant-based Māori Rand's a great guy, and like he didn't talk to one thing about being vegan to me whatsoever.
And how good did his skin look?
Yeah, he did. Had a good skin.
Goodness, I thought about going vegetarian after looking at you. My goodness.
But like he started that because it made him feel better. It's not so much about the animals. There is a benefit of that as well, but it just made him feel better. So he attached himself to that identity. So the goal for, say, like, it shouldn't be just to run a New York Marathon. I think they use that example in there, but it should be a runner. Yeah. Or the goal shouldn't be to finish 2 books. It should be to become a reader. So if you attach yourself to something that's a longer goal, I don't know, there's that element, you miss that element of disappointment.
100%. There's one that he says in there, it's like when people are trying to quit smoking and they say, they don't go, do you want a cigarette? And he goes,
I'm trying to quit.
Opposed to saying,
I'm not a
I
smoker.
Don't smoke.
Yeah, there's a difference, bro. There's a difference.
It's put me in that boat, right? So when I first went sober, people will ask me, are you drinking? Nah, I'm not drinking at the moment. That was my answer all the time. It was never, I'm trying not to drink. Yeah. It was always, I'm not a drinker. And now, obviously, my story's out, so people know that, I don't drink. So, but I always, as soon as I made that decision, I didn't realize that. And it's like one of those cool things that I realized that I was doing this shit from the start. I identified as a person that doesn't drink anymore. And so when people would ask me, it was never, I'm trying not to drink. It's like, I don't drink anymore. And that's when I saw that, I was like, bing, light bulb went off. Did you read the part? Not to go down the attic line again, but when he talked about the guys that went to Vietnam from US, the soldiers that went to Vietnam.
Run me through it.
Okay, so 25% of them end up being addicted to heroin when they came back. And the reason why is because it was easily accessible. They were surrounded by, these guys that they became friends with that were doing it as well. But and of course, a highly stressful environment, bro. Like the most stressful environment you can possibly have. But when they came home, 90% of them ended up becoming sober, right? And you've heard the stats when I came on here last, somehow, it's opposite. So 90% of them became sober and never got back on it. And at that time, they said that heroin addiction was irreversible. Once you were addicted to heroin, you were gone. But 90% of them ended up changing. And the reason why is because, first of all, the environment changed. Obviously, it's nowhere near as stressful as war, but the people they were hanging around with weren't doing the, obviously not having heroin, and it's obviously not as accessible as it was over there. So they changed their environment, and that's what, got them off. But if you reverse it, right, now everyone that goes from, you're in a party scene, you're in that environment where you're going out and you're getting drunk, and then you end up being an addict, and you go over to rehab, you come back, you're back into the environment.
I've got this example in my head running right now. It's like, bro, whenever I hang out with Normie and I go to Cronulla, I just go, fuck. Like, we got feeling slappish. Yeah. Like, I just feel like going to fucking play pokies with them and just have a fuck around. But like when I'm here, I don't think about pokies or anything like that.
It's the environment.
Fucking Normie, you're in my environment, bro.
Come on, Normie, man. So the reason why, like, people will go to me, man, you must have the best discipline, right? Your willpower must be so strong. And I read this book and I realized my willpower actually must be pretty shit because I got myself into rehab. I was a drug addict. So it can't be that good.
Oh, it's not funny being a drug addict.
No. But you know what I mean? So what I realized is that I don't test my willpower often. I don't go into the environments. I stay away from the environments. So my willpower is not getting tested. I could probably count on one hand how many times I was in a alcohol environment last year, or maybe two hands actually, including weddings. But the other times were my functions that I held for work. You know what I mean? Like end of challenge presentations where people have like 2 or 3 beers or mid-year awards. You know, those are the only times when I'm being around alcohol. The reason why I'm able to do what I do and staying sober is not, one, because of the people I surround myself in, but it's the environments that I spend my time in. Like, I'm not constantly testing my environments. If I kept going every single week and I kept going on all these every week and trying to stay sober, it's not going to happen. Yeah. You know, but I don't think I've ever been to Northey since. I don't know. Yeah, but that was what I took out.
A few Renos in there, bro. It looks all right now.
In Northey?
Not trying to get you in there or anything.
Trying to get me to go check it out.
Yeah, a few Renos in there. No, it's nice. And I haven't been there in fucking years too. I went there with Norman the other day. So, this has changed a bit.
What have they done?
Oh, just standard Renos and stuff. Trying
Nice.
to save money, the boys.
Yeah, how good. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on the environments and how important that is for your habits and what you just said as well.
That's one of the big ones in the motivation. Environment, like motivation's shit, environment's more important.
Bang.
And motivations only last so long, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking, we're in February right now. How many people's resolutions are gone?
Well, I did a podcast about New Year's resolutions. I think it's like 8% of people are still doing their New Year's resolutions come February. So the other 92% are already gone. But yeah, that's a massive one. Your environment is better than your motivation. And I use an example for my 6:45 crew boys, right? So every single day, Monday to Friday, there's a group of us that train at 6:45. And if I was to rely on my motivation every single day to train, like people think, I do love training, don't get me wrong, but not the process. I love the feeling after it, but I love training with the boys. Right. If I try to rely on just my motivation, I wouldn't get through it. The reason why I'm able to train Monday to Friday, 6:45 all year round, 52 weeks a year, is because of my environment, right? We come from a footy background. We love the team environment. The boys come in. Talk shit. Monday and Thursdays, we ruin each other. Like we go hard. They're 100%. They're flat stick. But other Tuesday, Wednesdays are pretty cruisy. Like I'll go for a run and one of the boys will come with me, but they'll just do weights. Wednesdays we do weights. Fridays we go and play frisbee. This morning I was playing frisbee on the beach, playing offside. So it's my environment that keeps me motivated, because when I turn up, it's the boys, it's the vibe, it's the energy that comes from what we're so comfortable with, footy plays, and getting into like that hurt together. That's what motivates me. I'm sorry, the environment is what keeps me going, not the motivation all year round. Because there's heaps of days. Like this week, yesterday's a perfect example. I didn't want to train for shit. Like I was so sore, but I came in and the boys were there. We still got it done. You know what I mean? And it's because of that environment and the standard that all of us want to keep. So that the environment is a massive part of keeping you motivated.
It's always easier when you're getting pulled towards something than pushing towards something, and I feel like environment does that for you, especially the way you're doing it around team culture. And if you think about sprinting, if you were to those bungee cords and they go behind you and they're attached to a pole and you sort of take off, is it easier to do that or run with a parachute or do like a sled push? Yeah. So it's, I don't know, it gets tiring when you're trying to motivate people, and you'll understand this as well. Like being a PT, do this, try and push. But if someone's pulling you, it just feels a lot, hey bro, come with me, or bro, let's do this. And you attach yourself to an identity, to an environment. I don't know, just good things just start to happen, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. And if you surround yourself in a healthy and motivating environment, you find yourself leveling up to the people that are, or bringing them up to your level as well. So everyone becomes... everyone wants a certain standard out of each other, and that's what I love about the crew boys that come down. When we come in on the days where we need to rip in, everyone it's just head down, bums up, and everyone just goes. But as soon as it's clocked off, the shit talk comes out. Tell you what, Groover's the best.
Is he? He's got a bit of chat, is
he? It's not his chat, it's his pranks. He's constantly doing pranks, all the time. He's one of those. He's a big kid. He he does this. I actually can't even say all of them because he wants to try and do them on my podcast. He wants to prank some people, so I don't want to let too many things. But like, you'll constantly, like, you'll be sitting there, right, and I'll pretend to wave over your shoulder.
Oh, fucking Chico does that shit game too, bro.
That's where he got it from.
Oh,
you can blame Louis for that one. Does that one all the time, man. So he's constantly on, and he's always trying to get you. Have you heard him do the mumbles game?
No.
So he'd be talking in, and then you'll start mumbling, right? And then you go, what? And he does it so well. He'll go, all right, so I'm speaking to you. Hey, guys, you know what's going on in the video? And then, yep, what do you reckon about that? And then the guy goes, what? And he gets him, and all the boys know what's going on, right? So there's this new kid that's just come in, and he's feeling a little bit vulnerable already. And then you got big Luke Lewis going, yeah, what do you reckon about that? And he's going, what'd you say, mate? Gets closer and closer and closer, and the boys are just losing their shit. He just does that shit all the time. Like, I've been hanging in out with him for 2 years now, and he's still, like, every now and then we'll throw in a mumbles game. And I just look at him and go, really? We still there? We still playing the mumbles game? He's just a big kid, man.
Especially being a new guy in the group too, and it's Luke Lewis, and he's fucking big, and he's an athlete, and you've seen him kill it for the last 10 years. You kind of want to listen to what he's trying to say, isn't he?
Oh, he's a monster at the moment. Yeah, he's that big.
He's so shredded.
He's so shredded. Yeah, he's the biggest human ever.
So you talked about the back of like days you're not going to train. I've done this a couple of times where like I don't want to train. I probably don't have the environment you have. I like to train on my own whatsoever. More so train on my own. But the 2-minute rule, you know, so that you want to become a person, you just go in. I've done it in like not 2 minutes, but I'll go to the gym for like 10 minutes, do like cardio, do a little bit of cardio, meant to do weights and stuff. I'm like, fuck, I'm going home. But I've taken on the identity of someone that goes to the gym every single day.
Yeah.
So even though like I haven't got through the right amount of work that I wanted to, I took on that. And what ended up happening at the end of the day, I was like, fuck, I didn't train as well as I wanted to. I'm going to go back to the park and just do like a kettlebell workout or go play basketball for 40 minutes.
Don't you hate that little voice in your head that goes, fuck, you got to go back. You know, you didn't do it.
It's good though. It's good. But like last year, like I probably wouldn't have gone to the gym. I've woken up going, I don't feel like doing this. I've done my morning routine. I feel like, okay, now I'll go to the gym. Like, fuck, I need to get to work, I need to do all this. Or, you know what it's like when you're a human being and all these excuses that come in through your head. And I was like, I'll just go for the gym for a little bit, done it, and then kind of just set that motion in play for later. I was like, fuck, I better go do a workout now because
I did a podcast about like I believe it's like how you train is like how you work as well. Like if you train really, really hard, you'll find that this is what works for me anyway. When I train hard, I work even better later on that day. But if I have a shit workout where I knew I could have gone like harder, I don't work as well. Are you the same like that, or is it?
Probably like I don't. Yeah. You're probably right. Like, if all aspects of your life are sort of in balance, like what you're eating's good, like you train as well, like your work just goes with it. Yeah. Like you talked about environment of the people around you, and it raises the level of you. If you talk about the 4 pillars of your life, if you're doing one thing really well, all the rest is shit. Like, there's no sort of point being in there. So you kind of want to create this own environment within yourself where you're eating right, you're training right, your relationships are great, and then your work kind of just goes with it, or the other way around, or like you got these other 3 things killing it. Like, you kind of want to raise all levels so you're a lot more holistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I was just talking about it because I've had, like I always run these challenges, right? And every time I run them in the first and second week, I always get people come up to me and go, I cannot believe how good I feel. I cannot believe how much more I'm doing at work. I can't believe how much more happy I am. And for me, it just makes so much sense to train, you know, as many times, 4 times a week so that you feel better. You know what I mean? Like you just become better at, like what you said then, like a better partner, you work better. Like I just think that it should be everyone's pillar to make sure that they train and be healthy, because once you do that, everything else evolves, snowballs.
Bit of friend, bit of boyfriend, bit of husband, bit of dad, bit of business person, bit of employee. Yeah, it's just a stress relief, isn't it?
I'm the worst if I don't train. I'm a shit person to be around. I'm so moody, so cranky. I just ask Chloe. She'll know. She'll be like, go to the gym. Go for a run. Do something. Yeah. So what are you going to implement from the Atomic Habits? What tools are you going to implement now? I
think we touched on a lot of it. Systems based. Like if you don't have a great system within your business or within your life, it's just not going to work. Like goals are great. Goals are like ideas. Like, do you know what I mean? Actually, like everyone's got ideas. Few people have actions. Everyone's got goals. Few people have systems. So systems is the big one for me.
Yeah. So we talked about on our goal setting, like goals don't mean shit unless you put action towards them. So with actions is the systems. So like with mine, what I realized out of those 2 goals that I didn't hit last year, it was because I didn't have the right systems, like I wasn't rewarding myself once I finished, or I wasn't compounding the good habits and stacking the habits. So like you said, so I'm going to come up with systems, and the one that I'm going to be putting in is stretching. The one you did with Quade Cooper. I did that for like 3 days, and then it just didn't stop doing it. I'm like, I need to put that in. How I'm going to do it, I've got to find
motivation. Environment's more important.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got to find an area where I can stack that onto the top of it. You know what I mean? Straight after, I wish I could do it straight after training, but we're just bang, we're straight out the door. I've got to get back for the next class, but I need to find time, that 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it was, make sure I find that time and then but stack it to something. That's what's helped me with it mostly about this book is I can perfect my habits now as well. And I look back on the things that I didn't achieve last year, and why didn't I is because I didn't have the systems, the correct systems anyway. So just creating those new systems is what I'm going to be doing this year. All right, so
just with the goals, it's kind of good to reverse engineer. So say for my podcast, I want to get 2 million unique downloads for this year. So that you just strip that back, like how many is that a month? How many episodes is that a week? How many? And that's a basic way of doing it. And the same like losing weight. Like I want to lose 10 kgs over the year. Like how much do I need to lose every single month? And then you go, so for me to lose that, I need to be doing say 2-3 sessions of cardio a week. And that's a system.
That's exactly what we teach our challenges, right? So how our 8-week challenges work, you come to our seminar, and I do the seminar, and we talk about lifestyle habits, and we talk about nutrition, and then we set goals. Once you set your goals, you then get a coach, right? And the coach, you'll tell your coach what your goals are, right? So you're like, all right, I want to lose 8 kilos in 8 weeks. Okay, well, that's 1 kilo a week. We break it down to how many sessions a week you got to come through, how many calories you got to be eating, right? So you get, not to get too technical, get your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. It's how many calories you burn in a day. And then you add the amount of calories you expend in a day. So that's the amount when you train, how much you burn during that. And then plus, walking around. If you got a watch, it's really easy to do. But as you get those 2 numbers and you get the average for the week, and if you want to lose weight, if anyone wants to lose weight, it just comes to calorie deficit. So say, let's just make it nice and easy. There's 2,000 calories that you burn through your BMR plus your training plus your NEAT. If you want to lose weight, you've just got to consistently eat under that number, right? So we range it off 20 to 30% off underneath that number because it's a sustainable. You can do it for not only 8 weeks, you could do it for longer as well. Yeah. So we explain that to them, and we say rather than you sitting there going, all right, focusing on 8 kilos, we break it down to what you got to do each task. What's your system every single week to achieve that 8 kilo loss, right? And just literally, all right, how many sessions you come to. 4 sessions are perfect. When we give them heart rate monitors as well. We want you to be burning around these amount of calories and myosin effort points. We want you getting around this, and they just go, yeah, sweet. So they just got to tick it off, and then we brought this in on our last day. We changed more of the accountability, more structured, and bring that in. So on average, you'd only get like 10 people that nail it. Like I'm talking like get hectic results out of like 100 people. We did 140 in the last one. We had over 40 people get like next level results. One dude lost 15 kilos and he came 4th.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how big our results were. So we noticed once we broke it down to a simple, what do we do? A weekly task, like 3 different things. How many sessions come to? What are your myosin effort points? And what's your nutrition goals? So that might be how many calories or what you're taking. It might be simpler, and you say, all right, I'm just going to be taking out beers, no beers this week and no chips. You just make it really, really simple for them, and you don't focus on for the 8 weeks. You focus on just that week, because they get a phone call every week. And we noticed that when people broke it down to that, they didn't get halfway through and get overwhelmed as well and go, fuck, I'm not far. I've just fucked up for a week, so I'm going to be no good. So they just kept getting better and better throughout the whole 8 weeks, and then boom, massive results.
Good man.
The biggest results I've ever seen, which is crazy.
So what else you got on there?
All right, so we'll go through what were your 3 quotes? We'll just go bang, bang, bang. What were your 3
I
quotes?
wouldn't have 3 quotes on me, but the main one was that systems one. The goals are the results that you want to achieve. Systems are the process that get you there.
Yep.
Name your 3 ones.
Okay, so my first one was never miss twice, which we talked about before. One day at a time. So I think your quote. It's been said heaps of times. It's like people underestimate what they can do in.
Overestimate what they can do in a day, underestimate what they can do in a year.
Exactly, right? So if you just put one day at a time, right, and you just keep compounding the habits one day at a time, think about how far you're going to be, in a year in advance. You did talk about, I think it's like 37%. You improve 37% if you just improve 1% each day or something like that.
Yeah.
And he talked about the English cycling team.
Yep, that was cool, I know. Yeah.
Wow. Like, they hadn't even won anything yet. And then...
Within
I think it was like seven years or something. They ended up being like
Tour de France,
and like just the crazy little 1%ers like painting the bus white so they could see the dust, so no one would get sick. Like just crazy shit like that. But yeah, that one day at a time really stuck out for me because again, that was one of the mantras that we got taught when we were in rehab. Was just one day at a time. Like don't worry about trying to stay sober for the rest of your life. Just be sober for one day at a time. So that one hit home as well.
So Andy Frisella, when he does that challenge, and you read 10 pages a day.
Like 75 hard.
Yeah. Like 10 pages a day, like that's 3,650 pages a day, which I think I've done a maths on it one time. It was like 12 books.
Yeah.
Which is like a book a month.
So that was my goal, and I kept missing it because I didn't have the right systems, and it was just 10 pages.
10
a day.
pages a day can get you 12 books.
10 pages a day, and then when you go away on holidays, you end up pumping out like 1 to 2 books. How many do you read when you go on holidays?
I started this year. I read 3 books in like 4 days, but like I had fucking nothing. There was nothing to do. We were in Port Douglas. I was just sitting by the pool going, "Fuck."
Do you like? I think
I appreciate it now. But I didn't like it at the time.
Yeah, it's a weird thing about holidays, right? When you're on holidays, you kind of get antsy. You want to get home. But you need them.
Yeah.
You need it. You need it. Like otherwise, you'll burn out later on during the year.
Yeah, I think I booked my holidays. All my holidays are pretty much booked in now. Like I know when I'm going, for how long and where.
Same as us. So like we do all of ours. We got to, because of now Jet's at school. We got to work around his school times. Yeah. Kids, man. We're going on those planes. I always think about you every time. Bro, you would hate him on the Bali trip on the way home.
Oh, really?
My youngest, he kicked off hard. And I was just thinking, fuck, if I was here, he'd be hating so much right now.
There'd be plenty of ices on the plane there.
And those Bali flights home too, they're the pits.
Oh, the red eyes.
Yeah, they're the worst. So yeah, he kicked off just as the plane was about to start.
Bro, do you know what? I flew back from LA like 2 weeks ago and I had no babies around me. Like, I care, but I just do it more as a joke. Like, it's not fucking proper personal. But there was this lady, 3 things, and she coughed. She full grown lady, and she coughed all the way home. And I was like, fuck, kids aren't so bad. Like, you got a full-grown adult that can't fucking control her cough. And she had the audacity, like when she stood up, everyone's sort of waiting. She asked her friend, "Oh, how was your flight?" And everyone just sort of like looking at each other. So yeah, hate that lady now. And
then my last one was, you get what you repeat. So if you repeatedly do a bad behavior, you're gonna have that bad behavior or bad habit.
Vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. So you got to be wary of also with you're good and you're bad. So if you continue to do bad, eventually, if you keep eating Maccas every single week, that's gonna intrude on your health as well.
I think Warren Buffett eats Maccas like every day. Eh?
Does he really? Don't say that.
He does, yeah.
He gets these coins from his wife, and he goes through the drive-through and gets a sausage McMuffin and a coffee.
Did you say he gets coins from his wife?
Yeah, he's tight, bro. He's tight. He still lives in the same house he brought back in like fucking 67 or some shit.
The coins. Yeah. Wow,
yeah.
Warren Buffett, come on, man. You're better than that, bro. You're so much better than that. Well, that's all I had written down. Anyway, else, you got anything else?
Nah, that's it. We'll just wrap that up. Now, fucking the best advice and the thing that you should get from this podcast is pick this book up. Like, obviously, I've had about 30, 40 people start reading it from there, but fuck, just pick it up and read it. It's such an easy book to read. Anyone that asks me what book should I read first, this is it. If you read 100 books, this is the book you should read. So it'll change your perspective on life, and it'll give you a lot better frameworks, and you'll understand where you're fucking up and where you're going right and how you can quickly change that today. Yeah. So
that's exactly what I was going to say. It's you can implement everything that he talks about today. Yeah. Like even the small things, that like just putting the book on. That was the first thing I did, was put my book on top of my pillow.
Priming the environment.
And it just changed everything. Just change everything.
Get your workout stuff ready the night before. So, like, when you wake up, there's no excuse. Your mind doesn't start to go, oh, I have to find clothes. I can't find clothes. Fuck it, I'm not going to train.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, prime the environment before you go and take on the if you want to be a healthy person, take on the habits of a healthy person. Eat healthy. Stick to a diet. Buy a gym membership. Fucking buy Nike fucking dry fit clothes because you feel good in them. But those are the habits of a healthy person. Train every day and you look up after a year and a half and think good things will happen.
Exactly. And so many people fail because they don't see the momentum in the first week, month. You know, I've been running for the last month and I'm not getting fast. I'm not losing weight. Don't worry about what's happening in the month because, like you said, you know, you talked about the ice cube. Why it didn't melt once it hit 32 degrees. Boom, it melted straight away. It's the exact same thing when it comes to momentum. You just got to keep going because as soon as you get to up past that 32 degrees, boom,
later.
The results happen.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to focus on. You focus on just getting through each day, and eventually, you know, the ice will melt.
That's a great project. Hey, great way to actually, I'll just go one more story. You know the San Antonio Spurs, and I've got that guy, and they give an analogy of a guy smacking a rock.
Yes.
And then after about 100 times, it cracks. And they say it's not so much the final strike that killed it, that broke the rock, but it was the 100 before that.
Exactly.
And that's what Atomic Habits is. Daily, incremental 1%ers that's going to make your life better. Won't change your life in a week or 2 weeks, but trust me, over time, good things are going to happen.
I'm going to do a podcast at like this time next year, and then I'll go.
See where we are, right? It'd be cool.
Well, we semi-did it today.
Valentine's Day. Shit, let's go.
Next year we'll do another one. But it's just pretty much the same as last year, right? So I was actually going to get you on and talk about our goals and where we've evolved from back in like December. But this is the one where we did the goals one. Now
it's measuring stick, isn't it?
Yeah, and we come back again, and we're in the same position. What did we learn from last year, and how can we grow? And again, this is another tool that we can use to evolve even more.
This will be the baseline of everything that we do moving forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Where can people find you?
On Instagram, Travis Young 06, and then also my gym is called Reborn Fitness Club, and then I've got a podcast called Becoming Reborn.
Who's coming on your podcast in the next couple of weeks or next month? I'm
going to get Chase before he shoots back over to Toronto.
Why is he not over there?
Because he's visa. Oh, he's the best part. He's been here for like 5 months now. So I'll get him on, and then Boydie Cordner will be the next one on. But I'll just
he's a good bloke, Boyd Cordner. He's too nice, man.
Bro, he's the best.
You just want something to be wrong with him. Like everything's going like great bloke, not a bad looking fella as well. We're fucking winning everything.
Biggest shoulders you've ever seen, by the way. He walks in the gym. We're at a garage. You've been to my gym. It's garage door, and he's got to walk through sideways. He's massive. Yeah. He's such a good lad.
Been walking around holding his wallet. That's why.
Good on him, though. He deserves it.
Fucking hope he does.
He's been going since he was 16.
He's gonna be sore after footy, man. Just to see him walking and that, he looks sore, bro.
Every preseason, he's got to run on the altitude.
Oh yeah, is he on that?
He's got to run on those treadmills. Is that altitude treadmills? Is that what they call it? Yeah, he runs on those because of his knee. I think he had 4 Ricos or something when he was like 16.
You can see it, bro. When he walks out, you can sort of see he's got that like kind of limp to him.
He's again holding those shoulders up. They're that big. But yeah, I've known Boydie since I was 7, 8.
It'd be a great podcast, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one because it's like, you know, we can talk about his upbringing and that as well. You know, he's a tough kid, man. Very tough kid. I'll wait till the podcast comes out, but he went through a lot when he was younger. A lot. And he's very tough from it. Mm-hmm. He was a different kid, but...
What do you mean? What do you mean different?
Bro, so he's 4 years younger than me. He was bigger than everyone in my year. And he was just, I don't know, he was mentally tough as a kid. Have you heard that story about when his dad, Chris, went for a run? It was like a 5K run and he was only like 6 or 7 years old. And Chris went out and goes, oh, mate, I'm going for a run again. Boy, do you want to come with him? He's like, oh, yeah, mate, you're not going to be able to run that like 5K, so don't just stay at home. Boy's like, no, I want to come. He ended up running like 3.5, 4Ks before he stopped, and he's like 6 years old. Like, that's a long way. I know 90% of my gym can't run, 4Ks without stopping for the first time.
That's me, bro. You look me in the eyes there. I think that's me.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. All right, thanks for jumping on, Brandon. Always appreciate your time.
No, you too, bro.
Let's go.